Good morning, dear students. How are you doing all? I hope you are doing well. See, just now our midterm exam has finished, and biology half lesson was there till infectious diseases, and you have learned till infectious diseases your why do we fall ill lesson. Okay, so from today onwards, we are going ahead for the further lesson. Okay, so we will start our this lesson with the means of spread, means how these diseases are spreading. In last video we have seen infectious agents are responsible for the diseases, right, fungi, algae, then protozoa, worms or viruses, bacteria. These were responsible for the transmission of the diseases. But here the means of spread means in that case infectious diseases, we have seen in that some vectors were responsible for the transmission of diseases, means through some vectors like viruses, fungi, algae, through them the another person was getting infected, right? So infectious diseases we have seen, but today we are going to talk about means of spread is direct transmission, means there is no vector is not responsible for the transmission of diseases. So our today's topic is means of spread and direct transmission is our today's topic. So what happens here? Pathogens are transmitted directly from one infected person to a healthy person. When it happens, students, can you guess when does it happen? The pathogens are transmitted directly from an infected person to a healthy person. See, suppose there are two persons. One person is healthy person and another person is infected person. And if the healthy person comes in contact with the infected person, and infected person would hug the healthy person, and if handshake the healthy person, and if there is a close friendship, then there will be a little bit wrestling in between the healthy person and the infected person, then such diseases can directly be transmitted. Understood? So this is the case of the direct transmission. So once again, pathogens are transmitted directly from an infected person to a healthy person. So what happens here? A contact with the infected person. In which case, what type of contact is required for the direct transmission of spread of disease? So first we will see, when an infected person comes in contact with a healthy person, for example handshakes. Okay, when infected person do the handshake with the healthy person, then direct transmission is possible. Okay, then hugs. Okay, hugs, then wrestling. If they have met, healthy person and the infected person are a good friend and they are meeting after long time, so obviously they are going to handshake, they are going to hug. And if there is a lot friendship, so they are going to little bit wrestling is also going in between them, and these are the reasons to get infected by a infected by the healthy to the healthy person. So this can be the first reason of the direct transmission means of disease. Second is when infected person exchanges fluid with the healthy person. This topic in this video only I shall explain you later, because here a separate topic is there for this fluid, what body fluids are there. So here I am going to explain you some bodily fluids, and so that it will be more clearer for you. So second topic we will second point we will little bit keep aside and we'll go for the third. So from mother to unborn child through placenta. Students, you are knowing, whenever there is a baby remains into the womb of the mother, right? Womb of the mother, you all are knowing. So now third point, that is from mother to unborn child through placenta. Students, you are knowing, whenever there is a sexual reproduction, and during sexual, the result of the sexual reproduction is having a baby in the womb of the mother. Okay, so whenever the baby is in the womb of the mother, at that time what happens, the child and the mother are very close to each other, right? How they are close to each other? Because the mother is providing food to the child who is in the, that is called as a fetus. Child, we when it come out from the womb of the mother, then we say child. But whenever the baby is in the womb of the mother, that baby is called as a fetus. Understood? Because it is unborn baby and it is protected nicely into the womb of the mother, so it is called as a fetus. Okay, and that fetus is provided food, then oxygen as well as water through one cord, and that cord is called as an umbilical cord, and there is a richly supplied blood vessels which are in the shape disc like shape is present, and through that disc like shape richly supplied blood vessels are present, and this is the umbilical cord. Through this cord, means from here actually the blood along with the nutrients and along with the water enters into the umbilical cord, and through this umbilical cord that blood which is full with the nutrients and the water, that blood goes into the womb, that blood goes into the fetus of the mother, and here the child get its nourishment, the fetus get its nourishment. So through this also, from mother to unborn child, such diseases can be caused. So this is also one of the reason of the direct transmission. Means sometimes mother is suffering from particular disease, then the child is also suffering from the particular disease. How it can spread? It can spread through direct transmission from the placenta through umbilical cord through fetus. Means this is the placenta of the mother and this is the umbilical cord, and this umbilical cord the child is attached. So this child is getting particular disease through this direct transmission. So this is the third point, a contact with the infected person. If the mother is infected, the child can get infection through placenta. Okay, so this is the type of the direct transmission. Now we will talk about droplet translation, student. What is meant by droplet transmission? So students, you are knowing droplet transmissions, droplets are spread during speaking. Students, see, suppose two persons are beside with each other. One is healthy person and one is infected person. And one healthy person is come closer to the healthy person come closer to the infected person. An infected person is suffering from cough and cold. So what the person is going to do? The person is going to sneeze, the person is going to cough, right? Or the person is going to speak, laugh. So while speaking, laughing, coughing and sneezing, what is going to be happen? Some droplets are coming out. And along with that droplets, the vectors of the diseases are also coming out. Because this is the viral infection. You are knowing, student, common cold and cough is the viral infection. So what is going to be happen? When that person is going to be cough or sneeze or going to be talk or laugh, at that time what will happen? That viruses along with that water droplets would come out. So the person, infected person, what care should be taken by the infected person? Infected person should use the handkerchief. Okay, and if the handkerchief is not, at least the infected person has to cover his mouth with the hand. So better. So now the COVID-19 situation, student, is going on. So what the people are using now? Yes, you are right. The people are using continuously mask, because this is the means of spread, direct transmission. This is the case of the direct transmission, because highly communicable disease. But if we will keep a proper distance and if we will use a mask, then we may not suffer from particular disease. So whenever we are suffering from any diseases, commonly whenever there is a common cold and cough, that time also we have to cover our mouth with the proper handkerchief, and so that other persons will not get the infection. So this is the first type, droplet transmission. So droplets travel some distances. What happens? See, these droplets are never falling down. Sometimes what happens? Droplets are falling down into the soil, and if that soil comes in the contact with the healthy person, then that healthy person will get suffer. So here such things does not happen. When the person, the infected person, is beside the healthy person and the droplets are transferring through these processes, laughing, speaking, coughing, sneezing, then what happens? If that person is beside it, along with the air or through droplets, the another person can be the victim of the particular disease. So this is the second type, that is droplet transmission. I hope you understand this point. Now just now we have seen the direct transmission by droplets. Now the further point is direct transmission spread by skin. So whenever any other person, infected person and the healthy person comes in contact by the skin, then some diseases are caused. Which are those? So coming in contact with the infected skin. Infected skin. So here is a very good example of a chicken pox, students. Chicken pox in Marathi it is called as a kanjanya. So whenever the person is suffering from the chicken pox is one kind of the skin disease. So whenever the person is, you are knowing students, chicken pox means what? Small bristles are coming on all over the body, and that bristles contains a specific kind of the thing. If that things means infected, means pus like substance is present, if that is getting transferred from infected person to the healthy person, then healthy person may suffer from again chicken pox. So this disease is called as a come in contact with the infected skin. So most probably whenever the person is suffering from the chicken pox, that person is kept isolated, right? In a home, in a special room, we keep them isolated with things. We keep those things, their things also aside. Why? Because that person who is infected must not come in the contact with the healthy person, and it must not be spread by the skin. So here students, whenever in a school also, when someone is suffering from the chicken pox, we allow them to be at home separated, and so that there will be the spread of the disease can be avoided. So this is the example of it. This another is a conjunctivitis. In local language we say the sore eyes, conjunctivitis. In Marathi we say डोळे येणे त्याला. So conjunctivitis also can be caused due to the infected. This is not infected skin, but infection. This is also caused due to the infection properly. So the person who is suffering from the conjunctivitis has to wear sunglasses, because conjunctivated person cannot fold, by blindfold he cannot use, otherwise he cannot see properly. So that the person who is suffering from the conjunctivitis or the sore eyes has to wear sunglasses. Okay, means there should be difference, or there should be some interference between the healthy person and the infected person. So conjunctivitis also can be disease. After it, one more disease which is caused by the direct transmission spread by skin, and that is called as a head lice. In it is called as a louse. Is in a singular it is louse, and if many then it is lice, head lice. So students, head lice or head louse can be spread easily when 2 or 3 people are coming close to each other, because while playing they hug each other, they handshake each other, right? Wrestling is also going on little bit, and so that during that what happens, these head lice or head louse are getting easily transferred. And so this is also one more disease that is coming into the direct transmission spread by skin. After it, ringworm, that we have seen in the worms topic. Ringworm is also caused due to the direct transmission spread by skin. So this is the topic related to the direct transmission spread by skin. Whenever coming in contact with the infected skin, that is example is chicken pox, conjunctivitis. So chicken pox person, infected person is kept aside or kept isolated, then conjunctivitis has to wear sunglasses. And head lice, louse, there is no remedy because children are going to mix with each other. So commonly the smaller younger children are always suffering from this problem. And ringworms, this is also, so exchange clothes must be avoided. We should not exchange the clothes of each other. So ringworms can be avoided. Understood? Now there is a next point which is really quite important. We will discuss in this video only later, that is direct transmission through body fluid. See students, mainly which body fluid is present in our body? Blood, correct. We have a blood in our body. And what other fluids are present except blood? Hormones are there, right? Hormones are present in our body, right, which are getting transferred in our blood. Right, so hormones are present, as well as what else is present in our body? blood. Then lymph is also present in our body, which you will learn in a higher classes. Hormones, blood, lymph, so these all the things are present in our body. So how these body fluids are responsible to have disease, we will see body fluids or bloods of an infected person comes in the contact with the mucous membrane. See students, mucus means a very smooth membrane is present in our body. In a nose we have a mucous membrane as well as hair particles in it. This mucous membrane and hair particle, so whenever we inhale air, that hair is filtered due to the mucous membrane and the hair particles. So such kind of mucous membrane is also coming into the body fluid. So this can be a body fluid which can be responsible for the direct transmission of disease. Where does it happen? See, whenever the person is suffering from any problem or any disease, and if that person is donating its blood to another healthy person, actually the checking is going on before it, but during blood transfusion, students, you might be knowing Raktadan. Okay, that Raktadan is what? Blood transfusion method. Here, a healthy person can give a blood to a blood bank and it can be stored in it. And whenever it is required, that blood can be utilized. So, during blood transfusion method, this direct transmission means these diseases can be sprayed. So, here it is, the care should be taken during blood transfusion method, during a blood stream. So whenever the person is suffering from any disease, that person, and he has got any wound or what, and if that blood is coming out through that particular wound, then also the other person can be suffer from the disease. So this is a very important thing before donating blood, that person's everything should be checked, and it is checked only by the people who are arranging that program. So it is very important. So blood transfusion can be a reason for the direct transmission of the disease. And last point, which is really quite important, which we will learn in detail in class 10th. See students, there are some, in the male and female, there are some hormones present, and those hormones, in the male testosterone hormone is present, and in the female progesterone and estrogen hormones are present, which are the fluids coming out, that the fluid which is coming out through the male reproductive part, that is called as a penis, that is called as a semen. Okay, and vaginal fluid which is coming out from the women vagina, and during sexual intercourse, whenever this material, semen and vaginal fluid, is getting exchanged, that time some diseases are caused. Okay, that those diseases are called as a sexually transmitted disease. In this topic only we are going to explain in detail the severity of those diseases. Students, you might be knowing due to the unsafe sexual contact, the diseases, the life-threatening disease can be caused, and the name of that disease is AIDS. This is sexually transmitted diseases. This is life-threatening. Other diseases are also there which are sexually transmitted, but these were not life-threatening. These diseases can be cured, but the AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, the long form of this disease is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is called due to the HIV virus, human immune virus, because this disease, human, it affects on the immunity system of the body, and immunity system, once it is damaged, then the person cannot be repaired by any disease, and so that this disease is very, very life threatening. So care should be taken. We'll talk later about this disease in this lesson also, as well as in class 10 also. You will have a detailed explanation about this disease. So without wasting much time, I shall go ahead for the saliva. Students, the person who is suffering from a particular disease, and if that person has eaten something in a particular bowl or in a particular, with a particular spoon, and if the healthy person would also use the same pot or same that spoon, then through saliva the person may suffer from the disease. Saliva means what? Salivary glands are present into the jaw, right? In the upper and the lower jaw, the bunches of the salivary glands are present, and these salivary glands are responsible for the direct transmission through body fluid, because this is also one kind of a body fluid. So here I have completed with the direct transmission, that is spread by the skin, spread by body fluid, and all others. Thank you.